On this week's Gadget Show Web TV, John tests out one of LG's latest smartphones. I bring you this week's best tech news, and Otis checks out Viewmytv. Hello and welcome to this week's Web TV. First up, John's got hold of the latest LG smartphone, the InTouch Max, which comes across as a great small Android handset at a reasonable price. But as ever, John has put it through its paces to see if it can survive in the highly competitive smartphone market.
We're big fans of smartphones on the Gadget Show. The trouble is, they can be very, very expensive. But if you fancy a smartphone and don't fancy all the extra costs, then I think this new LG GW620 InTouch Max could well fit the bill. It's available for free on some of the cheapest monthly contracts. It does everything you'd expect a smartphone to do. There's Wi-Fi, GPS, Bluetooth, HSDPA. It runs the excellent Android operating system. There's a 5-megapixel camera that takes decent shots in good conditions, and a really excellent slide-out QWERTY keyboard with really clear keys that are very easy to type on. There's the vitally important 3.5mm headphone socket, a good music player, and something I'd like to see on a lot more Android phones, an FM radio. On top of all this, the battery life was really very good for a smartphone. I was regularly getting more than a day's use without having to recharge. You can see where the savings have been made though. The touchscreen is rather small and it only uses resistive technology, so sometimes it requires a bit of a shove to make things work. It also uses one of the older versions of Android, version 1.5, so you don't get the latest fancy features like voice search or support for multiple Gmail accounts. And the processor inside isn't one of the latest fast ones either, so sometimes things can go a bit more slowly than you might like. Other negatives are that the video shooting resolution is poor and the flash tends to overexpose. Also, you don't get one of those nice trackballs to navigate your way around. You have to make do with arrow keys as a substitute. And the touch-sensitive buttons on the front of the phone are too easily operated by mistake. Now, I know that sounds like quite a few negatives, but none of them is really big enough to ruin the overall proposition. If you fancy participating in the smartphone come social networking revolution but don't want to spend a fortune on it, this new LG is definitely a phone to consider.
Right, news time now, and first up, one of our favourite things to come from this year's CES were the range of OLED TVs that were on display there. And just 2 months after the event, LG have announced that they'll be bringing their flagship 15-inch version to Europe as soon as possible. Unfortunately, the only territory they've set a firm date on is Austria, claiming it will hit their shelves in May. Previously, the only OLED TV on sale was Sony's XL1, which cost a staggering £3,000. But Sony have recently removed this model from Japan's shelves, an indicator that the rest of the world will soon follow, meaning that LG's offering will be the only one on the market. LG's model will cost just under €2,000 when it arrives, but we haven't been given a UK launch date or price just yet, although I can't imagine it will come too much longer after the Austrian launch in May. Next, Virgin Media has announced that it plans to start the rollout of a 100 megabits per second broadband service by the end of the year. Virgin currently offers its 4.1 million customers a choice of either 10, 20 or 50 megabit connections, but they claim that the new improved speed, which uses fibre optic cables, will mean that users will be able to download an hour-long TV show in just 31 seconds, and an HD movie would take less than 7.5 minutes to download. The 100 megabits per second connection is claimed to be 24 times faster than the average speed of its competitors, and Virgin are also setting their sights at a 200 megabits per second connection, and they've been holding a pilot scheme in Kent that's currently expanding to areas of Coventry. We all love watching TV online, and with all the UK major channels offering on-demand services, it makes it easy to catch up with your favourite shows. But what if you want to catch some prime programming from abroad? Well, Otis has come across a website you might find useful.
Ever wondered what TV was like from other parts of the world and how it compares to the great tradition of UK broadcasting that we have here at home? Worry no more. Viewmy.tv is a website that allows you to view content from around the world. Now, you can search via region, continental region, then narrow it down to country. Once you've selected your country, it could be anywhere like the Ukraine or maybe even Ghana. You can then look at lifestyle channels. You can check out radio, TV, local, government, comedy, shopping, sport, pretty much anything. One downside is you can't look at the United States and get lost, or 24, Fringe, or any of their big TV shows. But the news networks are prevalent on here, so if you fancied to see what Vatican City TV was like, you know, they got some big stars there with the hats, chatting religiousness all the time. Or you can check out what I've done, Ghanaian News. That's where my folks are from, you see, Ghana, so I thought I'd check out some Ghanaian news. Now, it's free. You can watch, you can use the facility at any time you like, and you don't even have to create an account. So you don't really have to worry too much about too many cookies being put on your computer and people tailoring advertisements to your viewing habits. Another good thing about the website is you can embed each channel within your own website or blog, which is as simple as copy and pasting. So if you want to share the weather forecast in Melbourne, you can do that as well. One major critique is it's very, very slow. You need a lot of patience. It's quite sluggish. Once you've made your selection of continent, country, genre, and then TV show, you do have to wait a while. It's frozen. But it's an encouraging start, and it does open the doors and the potential for broadening your horizons. You might even learn a new language. What's going on in the Ukraine?
Well, that's all we've got time for this week, but don't forget to check out Jason's first look at Microsoft's Project Natal. And make sure you tune into the main show this Monday night at 8 on 5. This time, Susie and Otis are using tech to find John. Jason takes a ride in the Cruden F1 simulator, and John also tests sports shoes with the help from Linford Christie. But from us at Web TV, we'll see you next time.